Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan Fox. Today we're talking about the Danny Masterson trial. He's been found guilty and is facing 30 years in jail. Let's get into it. So I wasn't able to follow this trial the way that I wanted to because it wasn't televised. You guys know how I feel about courtrooms and cameras. I think it's absolutely essential, and I mean essential, for liberty and for justice, that our justice system is transparent. And when we don't have transparency, we don't really know what happened unless we pay big money for the transcripts and we read them. But even when you read transcripts, you don't get the tone of voice that the thing was being said. So how can you judge as a member of the public reading through a transcript if the witnesses were credible or not? That's the problem I have with this particular trial. Now, the Danny Masterson, who starred in that 70s show, has been accused. He's a Scientologist, which is a cult for sure. And I'm very skeptical of Scientology. And I do think they cover up a lot of abuse, etc. However, the allegation stemmed from, I believe, 4 women, 3 of which were used in the trial to accuse him of stuff I can't say on YouTube. You know what they accused him of. Anyway, and he was found guilty of felony R word, 2 counts. So here's the thing, though. In looking through the trial coverage of reporters who were in the courtroom or the mainstream press that has been reporting it, like the AP, NBC, CBS, nobody is giving details about what kind of evidence led to his guilty verdict. In fact, what I have seen is that it's simply been witness victim statements, not witnesses to the event, but the victims themselves, that have led to this decision. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me, please, in the comments below. I read every single comment. Thank you so much for leaving them. I'm so glad you guys are liking the new format. So keep on leaving me comments. And if you have information on someone who's done a deep dive into this trial, I would like more information. But I'm not seeing it being given to me by the mainstream press. And so I have questions. Particularly about the Yahoo article that was written about the original trial, because this is a retrial, and the first one ended in a mistrial. So let's go to PJ Media, because I wrote an article about this and I linked everything that I wanted to talk about in this article. The jury foreman for the last trial said that the women kept changing their stories, and this was the one that ended in a mistrial. The jury foreman in the rape trial of Danny Masterson said evolving details and other credibility issues in his 3 accusers' stories ultimately led to a mistrial, while a lack of preparedness from the prosecutors and LAPD detectives who testified certainly didn't help. The foreman went on to describe several inconsistencies in the women's stories that led to the first mistrial. The problem, he said, was that sometime after she said she was forcibly, you know what, Jane Doe 4 let Masterson come inside when he showed up at her house, took a drink from his whiskey flask, and said that she was attacked again. We thought a reasonable person would not do that if someone had R-worded you, Earl said. You're not going to have him come into your house and spend the night and have relations again. I mean, that's a good point. What evidence did they have to put this man in jail for 30 years? I mean, maybe he did it. Maybe he probably did it. Neither one of those things is beyond a reasonable doubt, however, and that's what our criminal system is based on. And so it seems to me like the legal definition should have been not guilty. But then again, we weren't there and we weren't able to see what actually occurred in the courtroom. Do you see why cameras are so important? So if we go over to the Yahoo article that I quoted from, let's look at that. This was back in 2022 when the first trial was a mistrial. Look what else the jury foreman said. Another issue was with the testimony of Jane Doe 1, who testified in court that Masterson brandished a gun while he was attacking her at his house. But in 2 separate previous conversations with an LAPD officer and a later detective, she never mentioned the gun. Did she mention the gun in this trial? We wouldn't know. The reporters are not reporting it. The media who sat in the trial didn't report it. Now, I don't know if she did, and I don't know if she didn't because we weren't there. And this is a problem. So if anybody, again, if you know anybody covering this case really close up and in detail, I would really like to catch up. Let me know. Comments below. Jane Doe 1 also told detectives that after the attack, she woke up in a closet, but testified in court that she woke up in his bed. These were factors that couldn't be gotten past. I mean, I'm concerned about this, you guys. I really am, considering what we've seen happen with juries recently, where they just disregard the law and they just do whatever they want. I'm concerned. I get concerned about it. The jury was also puzzled. The Jane Doe 3, a long-term girlfriend of Masterson's, repeatedly said that her memory was fuzzy, struggled to give detectives any details about the night she said she woke up to find him doing that thing to her. But whenever it helped the case, her memories suddenly became extremely vivid and detailed. They didn't convince the first jury, and so they went at it with a second jury. And what changed between then and now? And why wasn't it televised for us to see the evidence? That's what concerns me. And I think it's a real problem in this country. I think it's a real problem that we have courts, and this probably had to do with Scientology not wanting cameras there because they don't want the general public to know what they've been up to. So, but that is similar to what happened in the Lori Vallow trial, where the Mormon church was allowed to dictate whether or not cameras are in the courtroom, and so we didn't get cameras. Why should a church or a religion have any say in what's happening in our court system? Why should they have any pull? Why should they have any sway? The public deserves to know what goes on in a public criminal trial. It's in the interest of justice that we see the evidence brought forward. If Danny Masterson is innocent of this, I want to know. If he's guilty, then I'm glad he faced justice. But at this point, based on what's being reported in the press, I don't know. Do you? Do you have any ideas? Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Tell me if you know anybody following it. And as always, I'm Megan Fox. Like and subscribe. Please do it now. It helps the algorithm. You know, all the things.